it with music, beautiful music. Hello, I'm Fred Miller, and this is yet another lecture in song. And before we get into talking about the unfamiliar names attached to some very familiar songs, a little information about me. I was born in Albuquerque, had a great piano teacher, a classical piano teacher, and I really was as interested in the history and the biography of the great composers as I was in the music itself. And that went on till precisely on my 13th birthday, the day I turned into a teenager. The Beatles arrived in America. And I expanded my musical tastes to include the great rock songs of the 60s. And that went on through high school. Till the summer after I graduated, I hitchhiked with a friend from New Mexico to the Woodstock Festival. Even managed to show up very prominently in the poster there. But that was it, for rock music. And history has really borne out that that was the peak of the rock age. I was due to go to college that fall. I went very briefly, then left. Got a VW bug, traveled around the country, and settled in Greenwich Village. At some point, somebody gave me an album of Ella Fitzgerald singing Cole Porter. And here I am, the world of Gershwin, Porter, Kern, Rogers, Berlin, Frank Sinatra, Bing Crosby, Fred Astaire, Judy Garland, Ethel Merman, the whole gang. I knew I was going to do something with that music, and I came up with the notion of a lecture in song, each one being a profile of a great personality or some aspect of American popular song. I started with 6 programs initially. I thought that was going to be the extent of it, and then I just kept adding, and now to date I have 75 different lectures in song, each one described in detail at fredmillermusic.com. This program I call He Wrote That, in sort of an answer to who wrote that. Well, he did. Well, who's he? He wrote that, and he's, all the different he's here we're talking about. Let's start with a unfamiliar name, Don Ray, R-A-Y-E, born 1909, lived till 1985. His real name is Donald McCrae Willoit, Jr., composer, lyricist, dancer, born in Washington, D.C., was the Virginia State Black Bottom and Charleston champion, presumably in the late 20s, maybe early 30s, danced in vaudeville as well. Went to NYU, studied literature and advertising there, and drawn to music, and made his way to Hollywood. And by 1940, had his first hit in collaboration with a guy named Huey Prince, and it was in a movie called Buck Private, starring the Andrews Sisters and Abbott Costello. Here it is. He was a famous trumpet man from out Chicago way. Had a boogie style no one else could play. He was the top man at his craft. And then his number came up and he was gone with the draft. He's in the army now, blowing reveille. He's a boogie woogie bugle boy, Company B. They made him blow the bugle for his Uncle Sam. He really brought him down cause he couldn't jam. The captain seemed to understand, cause the next of the cap went out and drafted a band. Now the company jumps and he was reveille. He's the boogie woogie bugle boy of Company B. A toot, diddly-yada-doo, bows a day to the bar. And boogie rhythm, he can't blow a note unless the bass and guitar are playing with it. He makes the company jump when he was reveille. Here's the boogie woogie bugle boy of Company B. He puts the boys to sleep with boogie every night. Wakes them in the same way with the early bride. They clap their hands and stamp their feet, because they know where he plays when someone gives him a beat. He really breaks it up when he was reveille. Here's the boogie woogie bugle boy of Company B. Well, all the company jumps when he was reveille. Here's the boogie woogie bugle boy of Company B. Here's another one with Huey Prince, 1940. In a little honky-tonky village in Texas, there's a guy who plays the best piano by far. He can play piano any way that you like it, but the way he likes to play is 8 to the bar. And when he plays it's a ball, he's the daddy of them all. The people gather around when he gets on the stand. Then when he plays, he gets a hand. The rhythm he beats puts the cats in a trance. Nobody there bothers to dance. And when he jams with the bass and guitar, they all holler out, beat me, daddy, 8 to the bar. A plink, a plank, a blink, plank, blink, plank, plucking on the key. A riff, a raff, a riff, raff, riff, rapper, riffing out with ease. And when he plays with the bass and guitar, they all holler out, beat me, daddy, 8 to the bar. Here, a little slower. Now with Gene DePaul, whom we're going to talk about in a second. Out in the plains, Down near Santa Fe, I met a cowboy riding the range one day, and as he jogged along, I heard him singing the most peculiar cowboy song. It was a ditty he learned in the city. Kumbidi-ya-ya, yeah, kumbidi-yiddle-ya, yeah. Now get along, yeah.